This is Inside News, and these are the headlines. Nation mourns as former President Smith tragically passes away in a freak airboating accident. China has started the invasion of Taiwan by taking over the islands of Kinmen and Matsu over this weekend. President Miguel has ordered military action. In a surprise, the governor of Pacifica Island has been impeached on grounds of dereliction of duty by the Pacifican Assembly. The House has passed a budget and it's now waiting in the Senate. But is it all in time with the looming sovereign debt over our heads? My name is Richard Holland and welcome to Inside News. Today is the 24th of February and these are the stories of today. Today, the nation and Jackson mourn as former President Smith has passed away due to a freak airboating accident. Mr. Smith has been a devoted public servant, serving both in local and federal offices, before ascending to the presidency. As president, Smith abolished ICE and signed for the Balanced Budget Act. On state level, Mr. Smith served as governor of Jackson. Under that tenure, he expanded Medicaid and had a $2 billion surplus budget. He also saw a scandal when he signed an act that, among others, decriminalized bestiality and other sexual devious acts and crimes. Not long ago, former President Smith founded and led the America First Party as its chair, and was elected to the House of Representatives. Mr. Smith leaves behind a loving wife and 3 children. Mr. Smith will receive a state funeral. Per his wishes, his body will be transferred to his camp in North Louisiana, where it will be exploded via rocket-propelled grenade. The public is invited to this ceremony. Inside News gives its utmost condolences to the former president's family and closest friends. For the next story, we go to Taiwan and China. As the conflict in Asia has risen to a new height, as China has begun the invasion of Taiwan. Over the weekend, China has managed to capture the Kinmen and Matsu Islands. Chinese forces have killed or captured the Taiwanese garrisons on the islands, and the citizens have been placed under martial law. Defensive positions have been taken on both territories to prevent the retaking by the Taiwanese people. President Miguel has ordered the military to begin defensive measures against the Chinese and to retake the lost territory. The status of this operation remains unknown, and we are waiting on further developments. Tensions between the United States and China have risen to an all-time high since the signing of the Pearl Seas Accords, with Taiwan as the target of both. During the confirmation hearing of then Deputy and Acting Secretary of State, Mr. Holland stated that he personally recognizes an independent and sovereign Taiwanese state, and called out China's human rights violations against the Uyghur peoples. Allies of the United States, primarily Japan and Australia, but also Britain and France, remained silent on the situation developing in Asia. We now go over to a story from Pacifica where the governor has been impeached in an 8-0 unanimous vote. The impeachment trials are underway and are presided by State Justice Randolius. The trial began flamboyantly as, no joke, Representative Sophie Arden, who initiated the impeachment, referred to the justice as Your Royal Highness. to which the justice ordered the impeachment officers and the council of the governor to refer to him as my Lord Justice. Ardern asked that the Chief Justice and the colleagues keep an open mind as she opened with, quote, "Imagine a first grader just graduating kindergartner whose dreams are to be the governor of Pacifica, and then he sees Mr. Iron, who refuses to put in any work. The first grader then thinks, oh, being the governor is easy. I don't have to take any responsibility for my wrongs. The grounds of impeachment against Governor Iron are on derelict of duty. Pacifica has been in a shutdown due to lack of a signing of a budget. The first proposal for a budget didn't have the right months to be appropriated. The impeachment also follows a failed recall attempt, also initiated by Sophie Ardern. It remains to be seen whether Governor Aaron will be convicted or acquitted. Many political figures, especially from the right, have called the impeachment a sham. We now go over to reporter Daniel Sullivan, live from Washington, D.C., who will talk about the ongoing economic crisis with a looming sovereign debt over our heads.
At 2:07 p.m. today, the House of Representatives of the United States of America officially passed a budget to make appropriations until March 5th. Less than 24 hours prior, they passed a joint resolution to authorize deficit funds to pay for those appropriations. Now both bills are being sent to the Senate. The question here is, will the President and Senate act in time to save America from a looming sovereign debt default? According to a piece done by an independent analyst in Bloomberg News, the sovereign debt default will occur tomorrow if the Senate and President do not act in time. This is largely due to the fact that revenues necessary to balance the November budget decreased beyond deflation in January. Unless the federal government gets its act together and passes a budget, there will be no funds to pay interest on our debt. If the United States is unable to repay either interest or principal on existing government bonds, the United States would risk facing an unprecedented sovereign default, as its government would be unable to fund not only the discretionary spending, but it would also be unable to fund mandatory spending. We are currently in uncharted waters. There is no precedent as to what would occur if mandatory spending is ruled unconstitutional, thanks to the Balanced Budget Amendment. If mandatory spending isn't funded, that would put millions of Americans who depend on government benefits such as Social Security at risk. Representative Danielle Sullivan's constitutional amendment to repeal the Balanced Budget Amendment, H.J.Res.7, has passed the House with over two-thirds of representatives voting in favor and has been sent to the Senate. However, even if this amendment passes the Senate, it cannot be ratified in time for it to prevent the United States from defaulting on its debts. After the independent analysts on Bloomberg News released this information, the economy plummeted. Stocks panicked. The dollar dropped to lows unseen since 2007. We hope that the President and Senate will act.
Thank you, Sullivan, for this information. This was Inside News. We talked about the death of former President Smith. We have talked about the invasion of Taiwan, the impeachment against Iran, and hold on. I'm getting some news from the... Okay. Breaking news, everyone. President Miguel resigns from office. In a surprising turn, President Miguel has announced his resignation on Twitter. He has also done a lot of things. He has dismissed Secretary of Defense Miller in the middle of a military conflict, leaving the administration without any cabinet members. Miguel has also pardoned several people, including Mike Pence, Moon Guy, and James Berman. He has awarded medals to Randolius, Rika, Vice President Sandoval, and Senator Joey, among others. He has also nominated Kohai to the SCOTUS and Lucas Inoue to United States Attorney for the District of Columbia. Okay. When Miguel resigns, Vice President Sandoval takes over an empty administration. Miguel was threatened by articles of impeachment of the House but those were rejected, and Cory Clark resigned as a result of that. So let me repeat that once again. Breaking news: President Miguel resigned from office. He announced it on Twitter. In so doing, he has dismissed the Secretary of Defense, while military operations against China are ongoing. One has to wonder if this is the smartest decision this president has made. He has pardoned a person who tried to shoot the second gentleman, the husband of Jack Francis, former vice president under the pluribus administration. And if Sandoval takes over, he doesn't have cabinet members. So this will be interesting. These last few weeks of this administration are going to be very rough. So yeah, once again, President Miguel resigns from office. So once again, thank you for watching Inside News. We'll hope to see you next time, of course. We'll keep you up to date. Check out our website. You can follow me on Twitter, etc., etc. And we'll see you next time. Over to sports with James Wellerman here on Inside Television.